We were just talking to your catcher. I mean, how you feel about him through 3 weeks?
It's a great story, I think it's fair to say things weren't going real smoothly for Ray. Our system maybe was a little more difficult than where he came from, and there were some performances that were less than what we're seeing now.
First couple weeks of the season, you mean, or
No,
more
fall ball.
Yeah.
Fall ball, he was not on it at all, offensively or defensively. Even coming back in January and February, it was still an uphill learning curve for him. I think that he didn't feel comfortable. And credit to Ray and credit to Mitch Carricker, who works with them. They found the right communication system and the drills. And right from day one, Ray's been very hard on himself, probably more so than Coach Carricker or me or any of the coaches, probably guilty of trying too hard. And gosh, since we've started the season, he's been spectacular. Tough, the endurance, catching all 4 games in a row. We haven't been doing that. I guess that's a tribute to how much we trust him, how he's catching the ball, there's not one ball got by him in 4 games. And our guys have really good stuff. You know that.
There's a couple that tried to get by him,
Yeah, and he blocked it. That one glove block on the opposite side in the other batter's box, and whatever inning that was, in the inning that,
pitching?
yeah, Parker threw a slider in the other batter's box, and he gloved that thing, and that's by most catchers. So, and he's heating up with the bat too, which is just an added bonus. We kind of told him we don't care if he gets a hit for the rest of the season if he manages the pitchers and catches and throws, and now he's starting to heat up a little bit. So I couldn't be more tickled for his performance and his improvement. And didn't just come magically. He's invested a lot of time.
Yeah, he said he's stayed confident because he's been pretty confident in the work he's been putting in. But he finally saw some results this week, at least at the plate. But have you felt pretty good about the bats he's been having the last couple of weeks? And the work he's been putting in, that he was poised to maybe break through?
I'm going to go to Coach Oman on that one. He's made some adjustments with him. The quickness of his bats improved. I thought it was a little long in Loyola, and he got frustrated. And I think their pitching's pretty solid, and he was on time a lot and hit the ball hard the entire 4-game series. And you worry about a catcher wearing down and breaking down, and while the other guys are in there eating, while the other team's relaxing and eating, he's out preparing and doing more work. It's like he can't do enough. And so I guess, as you can tell, we're elated that we got him, and we got him late too. After a set of circumstances happened, and we're very lucky he was available.
George, I think you had 7 different guys get RBIs tonight total. I mean, is that what your lineup has to do?
You hope that.
On Healy or something.
Yeah, I was talking to Joey Mack, asked me that same question. That Steer and Matthews have been kind of, and of course Kyle and the first 4 hitters have been our guys, and you'd like to see some of that distribution go down to the bottom of the order, and that happened tonight. We had some mature at bats. I think DeLuca's a budding star. And, really a cool thing that Danny Patzlaff came off the bench 2 straight games and had really good at bats. There's a really unselfish senior that's played a lot for us, and he's been delegated to a secondary role. And instead of whining and complaining and poor me, he's been ready to play. So that's the way a senior should behave, but sometimes that isn't the way they behave. So we'd like to have more balance. So that burden for a Healy or a Matthews or a Steer, they're awfully good, but it doesn't always fall on them.
What do you think your starter tonight?
He's good. We're real high on him, and it was a little uncharacteristic. Summers didn't have the same command that he typically does, and although he did a good job in the stopgap inning, but then going out the next inning, he couldn't stay out there. So we as we've been saying, those freshman arms, we're real high on those guys, and most importantly, they have presence when they go out there. Coach Dietrich's done a good job of preparing them well, so they're in character, and I think they're going to pitch a lot of critical innings for us as we move along.
You talked about protecting Nelson or worried about his arm. Were you thinking about going 2 innings with him tonight, or did you
that was kind of the plan. We didn't take infield with him. He hasn't pitched. Kenyon was a question mark to pitch anyway, and that made it real easy when he got ejected. So that wasn't a good I've never seen a guy stay in the game when they draw a line like that. So live and learn. And unfortunately, those emotional things, that he's not available for the next game. So,
That's right.
so we'll have to have another closer. And you know, I think the unsung hero early in the season has been Parker Kelly. He's come into the real critical things. It doesn't show up. Well, I guess he's got 3 wins. So what am I saying? But in this series, him getting the ball to them, it was a critical thing. So Parker's development has been spectacular as well, in my opinion. I think Coach Dietrich's been a good pitching coach for him. He's really improved all 3 of his pitches.
Coach, you mentioned DeLuca just a second ago as a potential superstar in the making. The catch out in center, I believe he had a couple RBIs on a double as well. Do you think his best game so far for you guys?
Probably his best total game. Yeah, he looked more mature at the plate. He's starting to be more on balance. He had some at-bats get away from him early in the season where he was a little bit one-dimensional, and he'd have to be a knucklehead not to learn from the savviness of Steer, Matthews, and Kasser. He's always in their hitting group. And so those 3 guys are very much professional, and I'm sure some of their professionalism's rubbing off on Johnny. I think he's just experience away from being one of our most spectacular players. And I don't throw out the compliments of a 5-tool player very often, and he's a 5-tool player for sure.
3 out of 4. You can't do much better, can you?
Well, and you know, mark my words, that's a good team. They're a Pac-12 caliber team. They have pitching depth. I don't know how deep they are. You know, the middle of their defense is spectacular in my opinion. USA shortstop, the center fielder's a toolsy guy, and they've got some attitude to them. I think they're going to win a lot of games. So, and that's a good. I think it's a good series win, but it's also a good RPI helper because I think they're gonna win a lot of games, and they don't match up with all the West like all the other teams we typically play, and so it becomes an RPI aid for us as they move along, and hopefully, you know, at the point we're at, everybody that we've already played, we're rooting for them to win. So we have to handle our end of the bargain, obviously, but that always helps you when other teams win. And Vegas is 11-1 and ranked, and
Are they not?
oh yeah, they're. I thought they were pretty good, and they're proving it. They're winning a lot of games so far.
Thanks, George.
Hey, thanks.
Coach.